Game over.
In 99% of games, the goal is to beat the game, or at least beat it to the biggest extent you can, whether that means beating the game itself or often a high score. That means that even in games where you can't win per se, you may still somewhat succeed if you beat a high score. But why is this score important for the player? Well, obviously, because an accumulation in a number of imaginary points on the top of the screen feels good, satisfactory. But why is this? One could argue that all monies, to an extent, are also a number that goes up and down within a virtual system, that is, your online bank account. But at least with real money, we're able to purchase substantial stuff, by which I mean things from outside the virtual world, like bread, a laptop, or a pipe. The answer that we're looking for might be in the displayability or flauntability of this number within the Pixelanian games. They're right there, on top or even to one corner, but very visible. As for the passerby, to observe your unbelievably high score on, say, Donkey Kong. In Virtual Money, the writers argue this point. Essentially, these score points may be valued because of the ability the player has to boast about it, or at times for the chance to win trophies or gaming records. To reiterate, aside from monetary value, which points have none outside of the game, the value of currencies is also social, although there's a difference in the way monies show this social value. In contemporary consumer culture, we tend to display it in the items we buy, say clothes, not in the money itself, like we would in retro games. Furthermore, because of the increasing complexity of the psychology of winning, we may need to take Jules' reasoning. Winning simply makes us happy. What might be more valuable in the search to prove the Pixelanian as artful is the conundrum between these contradictory desires. As Jules explains, the game must be neither too easy nor too hard. Referring to the comparison with money, if someone gave you £1,000, then you might have a reason to celebrate. But if someone was to give you 1,000 points, that would hardly be a reason to write home about. This is because part of the value of points comes from the gratification of being good enough to get that number of points by yourself. Whereas this might differ with Fortnite V-Bucks, because the score points of the Pixelanian games can't even be used to purchase anything in-game or out. They're valueless if not gained by the player. The difficulty, almost impossibility of winning is what makes winning so exhilarating and powerful for the players. However, this strange use of electronic currency also serves as a critique of neoliberalist culture, showcasing the human desire to state social value. Again, the points aren't worth anything in the sense that you can't even purchase anything with them. However, we still crave them because they still have that social value to them. By creating useless currency that players still crave, the Pixelanian games, like Asteroids, showcase the prevalence of monies as signifiers of social status. This is also aided by the fact that we may compete to see who gets the highest score. A literal hierarchy is formed, where the ones with the highest grossing points stand over the rest. Worth noting here that the metaphor is represented not only within the gameplay, but also visually within the scoreboards. Going back to the clusters of art, the way that the Pixelanian deals with winning fits within number 2 and number 3. The Pixelanian sense of winning proves to be expressive of an emotion, self-satisfaction and excitement, and also proves to be intellectually challenging, because it challenges neoliberalist preconceptions about monies, by suggesting that a big part of their value to neoliberalists is social. One does not need to be able to buy Supreme or Gucci clothing with monies to show off that they are above others. As long as the money still has some social value, people will crave it and spend endless actual real-life coins as well as time in the arcade to get it, because it proves their worth. As per Newman's system, the agency of the player is simply set out in games like Asteroids. There's a simple goal, which is to collect points. There are simple obstacles, which are presented by the asteroids and the UFOs, and there are simple abilities given, a laser and propellers. For the next section, I'd like to go a bit deeper on the latter, on the abilities we are given, or more specifically, on the avatar who we are given these abilities through.